Yeah. Hi. In this video, we are going to discuss about the KNN. KNN is K nearest neighborhood approach. Okay. This is one of the machine learning algorithm. Basically, we can use for both classification and regression tasks. KNN we can use both for classification and regression tasks. By the name of this one, we can understand we are nearest neighbor. We are going to use the nearest neighbor approach in the KNN. But how we are going to use that one, we will discuss that also here. To to get more intention, we can see that also. And let's say before applying model, we have to know about the data, how the data has to be look like. That's a more important thing. For suppose we know already data we will represent in the matrix form. Let's consider this one is capital X and the dimensional is n into we have d-dimensional data and the number of points is going to be n. Because of that the matrix dimension size is going to be n cross d. It's a independent feature and the dependent feature is y. Here also we have n number of rows and based on the class anything it will be the dimensionality is different. Generally we will consider as 1. Okay. And this is the representation of the dependent and independent and dependent variable. This is the dependent variable, it's the independent variable. For the classification purpose the data must be xi comma yi. Xi is the independent feature and y is the dependent feature, and we have n number of points are there, so that x belongs to r power d. The dependent feature must be real value with a d-dimensional, and yi belongs to, if suppose we have as a classification data, especially for the binary classification, we will have 0 and 1. Okay. If it is multi-classification, for example, if we have MNIST data set, in the MNIST data we have 10 classes. At that time, yi belongs to 1, 0, 1, 2, up to 9 we have. Now, let's see the for the regression task, how is the data was look like. For the regression, the xi comma yi, I from 1 to n, this is the n number of points. And xi is the same real value with 3-dimensional, and yi must be a real value and it must be continued. This is for the regression task. The data, this is for the classification, how the data has to be looked. This is the thing, based on the data we are going to apply the classification or regression technique on the data. We seen about the data, let's see about something about the how it's going to work. Basically KNN is using the nearest neighbor approach, and for example if we have data x data, we will train the data, then after training we will give the query point. For suppose it is a classification task. There's two classes, positive class, negative class. Okay, let's 0 or 1. If a query point is given, it will find the nearest neighbor points to the query point. Then based on the neighboring points, it will be classified. This point belongs to positive class or negative class. Okay. Based on Based on the neighboring points, we will classify the quarry point belongs to positive class or negative class. But how many number of neighboring points we have to consider? That was indicated by the k, and k must be odd. K must be odd value. K must be odd value. Let's see some intuition about the how it's going to work. By this way, we'll get some better understanding. After that, we also see some failure cases for the KNN. Yeah, these two things mostly we will discuss in this video. It is the data. Let's consider these are the positive points and these are the negative points. Okay, we'll consider like that. And the quarry point, this is a quarry point. We have to classify this quarry point belongs to positive class or negative class. For suppose we consider, let's consider k value as 3, but we are not, we are, it is a odd value and we can make tuning also. This one we will discuss that one later. In the first step, we are going to find the distance of every point from the quarry point. Then after, we are going to find the k neighboring points. That means after sorting, we will get 3 shortest distance points. Those points we are going to be considered. Okay, for suppose let's consider x1, x2, x3 is the 3 points. X1, x2, x3 is the 3 points, and their class label is, let's consider as y1, y2, y3. Y1, y2, y3. Okay. Now let's suppose y1 we have positive points and the y2 is negative and y3 also negative. Then xq is classified as a negative because here the majority classes is going to be negative. And similarly, if you have positive and positive, negative, here the majority class is positive points, then xq we will classify as a positive class. Based on the majority technique, we are going to classify. Let's say some failure cases for the KNN. The failure cases for the KNN. Let's consider these points as a positive point. These points are going to be negative. And let's consider k is equal to 3. There is a quarry point. This one is a quarry point. Actually, this point is very far from the 2 classes. But finding the distance from all the points to the quarry point, we will get the 3 points. Let's consider this 1 point, and these 2 are the other 2 points, 3 points. This is the 1 point, and these 3 are the neighboring points to the quarry point. Now, because of here the 2 points are negative points and 1 point is going to be positive, we'll classify xq as a negative class. But it is not actually true because this point is very far from the negative class also. We are not going to, it's not good to classify this quarry point as a negative class. At the time, it is good to give the either some probability this belongs to this class, like that, or I don't know actually the which class it is belongs to. By this way we can assume something. Okay, but directly telling the model the quarry point belongs to negative class, it's not good. Let's say one more failure case. In this scenario, let's see. First, here also let's k equal to 3. By this way, we are going to get these 3 points are neighborhood points. Okay. And now here by this way we will classify this quarry point as positive class. But it's not actually true because this quarry point are the same way in the negative direction. Okay. That's why it actually is a negative point, but we are classifying this point as a positive class. This is one of another failure case. Yeah, these are the two major issues we are facing. KNN. These are the two failure we can see in the general scenario.